Around 249 years ago, in a world still untouched by hellish horror, the skies above Sabai-gang were ripped open by a colossal dimensional gate. From within descended beings that would, in time, be remembered only as demons, the invaders of mankind. Upon their arrival, they boldly declared their intent they had come to conquer and crush humanity. The invasion of demons had begun. Grasping the scale of this existential threat, the martial world's most powerful sects united. They called themselves the Orthodox Heaven Demon Extermination Corps, a desperate coalition under the Orthodox Alliance, and publicly vowed to subjugate the demonic scourge. Their resolve would be tested quickly. Merely 3 days later, in Anhui, they clashed with the Demon Corps and were completely annihilated. 1 year passed. In that single year, the central plains of the human world were reduced to carnage. Half of the human population was wiped out, with the Orthodox sects decimated. Both Orthodox and unorthodox Miram factions joined forces in one last desperate stand, forming a final line of resistance in Sichuan. The battle for Sichuan lasted over half a month, but even their combined strength wasn't enough. 90% of the resistance was slaughtered. The martial world of the Central Plains was officially extinguished. Those who survived were enslaved. They were dragged into the demon realm, a land of crimson skies and twisted landscapes. Among those captured was the narrator himself. Born without any ability to wield inner energy, he had always been regarded as weak. But in the demon realm, that very trait marked him as a rare species. He was subjected to brutal experiments and relentless brainwashing, until finally, he was made into a soldier of the demon subjugation army. Years turned into decades. He invaded other dimensions. He carried out endless slaughter. He killed. Again, and again, and again. 75 years after first being enslaved, his relentless efficiency was recognized. He rose through the ranks and was promoted to commander among the very demons who once tortured him. But the hunger for vengeance remained. 120 years after that promotion, he uncovered the secret, the truth he had long sought. It had taken him 50 years just to identify the method. Another 65 years were spent preparing, carefully, silently, for the one act that would define his existence, rebellion. And then, at last, he struck. Exactly 1 week had passed since the rebellion began. In the present, he was coughing, breath ragged and body broken. The rebellion had failed. The Demon King stood before him, disappointed. What a disappointment. The king sneered. You risked all the contributions you have accumulated just for a rebellion of this level. Schwitz von Grentel. The man coughed blood, gritting his teeth. Don't call me by that name. My name is Sabai-gang. The Demon King tilted his head, bemused. I really don't understand. I've observed humans like you this whole time. While the abilities and talents you possess are measly, you always had a tenacious obsession with surviving regardless of the situation. That's your only strength. A pause. But why have you decided to act so recklessly after all this time? With blood trailing down his lips, Bigang whispered, because I had to experience it at least once. In order to gain definite victory the next time we fight, I have no choice but to fight you at least once. The Demon King chuckled darkly. That sounds pretty interesting, but it's also a foolish way of thinking. Did you think I'd give you a second chance? You'll die here today. Yet Bigang did not back down. I will not be killed by you. Recognition flickered in the Demon King's expression. Time regression. The authority of Nuzeran, an ancient evil god I see. The reason why you endured your defeat and humiliation quietly for 200 years was all for this. Begang's eyes burned with defiance. Just you wait and see, asshole. Next time round, I'll prepare even more thoroughly and beat the shit out of you. All of you cursed demons will die. The Demon King laughed, a deep, guttural sound. Kukuku, I look forward to that. The only human I've acknowledged. Central Plains Murim. Present, it was a night steeped in terror. 10 years remained until the demon invasion. At the Orthodox Alliance Martial Arts Academy, Dragon Spring Academy, 2 workers were repairing a roof. Geez, I can't believe lightning struck out of nowhere. One grumbled. And it was powerful enough to destroy the training ground's roof. The other replied. Even so. The first added, we should be relieved that only that loser got injured. Loser. The vice instructor, who was an orphan that physician Jin Baek brought back. They say he was the one struck by lightning a few days ago. Or the martial arts instructor who can't use inner energy. From what I've heard, he wasn't injured that badly. Cuckoo, it'd have been better if he was injured badly, because today is his public execution. Inside, the announcer's voice carried over the gathered crowd. Starting now, the duel for the Spear Assistant Instructor position of the Dragon Spring Academy will officially begin. On one side, we have the current Assistant Instructor, Spear Assistant Instructor Sabai-gang. His opponent will be his challenger, who was recommended for the assistant instructor position, Invincible Divine Spear Mang Sundeok. There was a request to verify the abilities of assistant instructor Sabaigang, so this duel will determine who deserves the position. Both of you are to fight with your honor as martial artists on the line. Mang Sundeok chuckled. Oh ho, you seem better than I expected. From what I heard, you got struck by lightning out of nowhere. I thought you were just making up some excuse to avoid fighting me, but since you still appeared, I'll put an end to this quickly on account of your bravery, or you could just surrender in the very far future. Bagang's voice turned distant, almost as if recalling a tale. There was an instructor of a certain martial arts academy who couldn't use inner energy. Unfortunately, that was because he was born with that trait, but it couldn't be helped. He was naturally looked down upon by others. In the end, that incompetent instructor, who was known as the shame of the martial arts academy, got his position stolen and was left to do menial jobs and errands. He suffered truly terrible days. What nonsense are you going about now? Mang snapped. Well, to sum things up, Bagang's tone sharpened. I've waited long for this moment, you ugly bastard. Meng's face twisted with fury. How dare you act so arrogantly? I was going to let you keep some of your pride since you're an instructor. It's time for you to pay for that arrogant mouth of yours. With that, Mang unleashed the Bull Demon Spear Art, first form, Ferocious Bull Charge, yet as the spear lunged forward, he froze. The sensation I was supposed to feel on my spear, I don't feel anything. While that looked pretty decent, Bagang said casually, you need to land it for it to do anything now. You bastard. Mang roared. Cuck, what happened? He thought in disbelief. How could he dodge the Bull Demon Spear Art I've trained for decades so easily? I was told he was weak, but this is totally different from what I've heard. Tisk. Bagang clicked his tongue. That was so slow. How can you teach anyone with those skills of yours? It can't be true. He must have just gotten lucky. Mang charged again. D. Bull Demon Spear Art, fourth form. Falling Bull Strike. Bagang countered, thrusting his own attack. Bah-ha. Mang laughed mockingly. There's no way that half-assed spear technique can block mine. But then, Bagang unleashed a fireball. What? Mang's eyes widened in shock. Gasps filled the arena. Everyone was stunned. The duel is over. The announcer declared, the victor is assistant instructor Sabaigang. Meng collapsed, begging for water. Baigang stood still, mind drifting back to centuries past. Captured by demons, dragged to the demon realm, surviving however he could. In that hell, he had realized something vital high-level magic. What do you think of my Heat Yang's arts? He thought, his eyes cold. This martial art known as Fireball was indistinguishable from any other martial arts form. So Bagang let out a groan, blood in his throat. Kef Yuk. The men who had just watched his duel stood stunned. One of them finally muttered, that was a good fight. The onlookers buzzed with disbelief and awe. Whoop. What was that just now? Someone whispered. Was that really martial arts? I think he called it Heat Yang Finger Arts. Another replied, still unsure if they'd actually witnessed reality. Another man stammered in disbelief. Sir, what kind of nonsense? Oh. Then, facing him directly, one of the instructors stepped forward. Congratulations, Instructor Sabaigang. You won this fight. However, I thought you couldn't use internal energy. Bagang wiped the blood from his mouth and gave a shrug. It was a stroke of luck. Luck. The man narrowed his eyes. Bagang nodded casually. A few days ago, I ate some herb I had never seen before while on a walk. Then, suddenly, I could use internal energy. Thankfully, I have a bunch of internal energy. You. One of them erupted. Are you kidding us? How dare you spout such nonsense to your elders? Are you insulting all of us right now? But Bagang stood his ground, calmly replying, it is your choice whether to believe it. Though, what does it matter? The men bristled. What? Bagang spoke with clarity. Did I cheat in the duel? It was a fight for the position of teaching spearmanship, but there was no rule to fight, using only spears. I don't know why I have to be interrogated like this when I won fair and square. You. One of them hissed, fists clenched. Calm down. Another elder said, stepping in. You're too worked up. He's right. You won this fight then. Since you won, you will. Sorry to interrupt. Bagang cut in, raising his voice slightly. But since everyone is here, I have a request to make. Or request. The elders repeated, eyes narrowing. I officially request for a test to be promoted to an official instructor, he said. Around the academy, whispers stirred. That's him, right? The one from the duel. What, really? This was the Dragon Spring Academy, one of many martial training halls established by the Orthodox Alliance to prevent hardship in the Jianghu Murim. Its purpose was to raise martial artists who would become future pillars of the alliance. The academy accepted children between the ages of 15 to 18 from large or decent-sized sects and clans. Instructors came from among the martial masters of the Orthodox Alliance, and they were divided into assistant instructors and senior instructors. However, the assistant instructors were mostly symbolic, they rarely taught directly. In the recovering body pavilion, Jin Baek, the pavilion master and a physician, rather than an instructor, confronted Bai Gang. "What happened?" he asked, clearly distressed. "How are you suddenly able to use internal energy? What have you done?" "I already said it was a stroke of luck," Bai Gang replied. Jin Baek's expression twisted in disbelief. "Nonsense. You know that I have treated you for a long time. Since the day I learned that you couldn't use internal energy, I have tried every possible method to fix you. But if it was something that could be fixed so easily, then how useless of a physician am I?" His voice cracked. "I know better than anyone that you were hated by others because of that. I'm too ashamed to face you now. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." Bai Gang looked at him with silent warmth. He hasn't changed at all, he thought. He is someone who is like a parent to me. 542 years ago, or rather, 15 years ago in this new timeline, Jin Baek had run into flames to save a dying child amidst a bandit ambush. He had lost his life trying to protect others that day. But this time, recovering body pavilion master, I will make sure that he does not die. "You don't need to blame yourself," Bai Gang said softly. "Don't worry about me either." Jin Baek looked up, stunned. "You just trust me," Bai Gang said. "I'll resolve all problems from now on." He knew the truth upon regressing. He had lost over 90% of his mana. At best, he could now muster the 4th circle. It was frustrating. It had taken him centuries to reach the 8th circle. Still, he told himself, "I should be grateful that I even have my mana." Yes, I am back. From that hell, the history of Jianghu Murim had been reversed. The demons had yet to invade, but the keyword was yet. Exactly 10 years from now, the invasion would begin. The Jianghu Murim would fall again. But it will be different this time, he thought, since I still have my 300 years worth of memories. Information about the demon army, their magic, the artifacts and weapons they prepared for the invasion, and most importantly, how to take them down. There was a knock at the door. "Are you in there, Bai Gang?" Jin Baek's voice called out. "Yes, Pavilion Master." Bai Gang responded. "What is it?" "Vice Academy Master Qian Semyung is looking for you. Right now, and he asked you to deliver that message to me." "I don't mind," Jin Baek said. "I'm more worried about you. I think it's about your request for a promotion. You should watch out. I'm sure the test will be hard, Dalaid. And since Mang Sundaeok, the person he recommended, lost like that, I'm sure he doesn't have any good feelings toward you." He paused. "Anyway, why did you suddenly decide that you want to become an official instructor?" Bai Gang's answer came calmly. "It's the first step to fixing the academy. Once, the Dragon Spring Academy had been one of the top 3 Orthodox martial academies, renowned and elite. But 2 years ago, its academy master, one of the top 10 martial masters, had mysteriously vanished. Despite years of searching, no trace had been found. He was irreplaceable, and without him, the Dragon Spring Academy had begun to decline. And then, there was Qian Semyung. The Vice Academy master stared at Bai Gang coldly. "Let me check one last time," Qian said. "Assistant Instructor Bai Gang, are you serious about your request for promotion?" Bai Gang stared back at him. "This piece of shit," he thought. "Of course, Vice Academy Master," he said aloud. "He is the accelerant of the fall of the Dragon Spring Academy." Qian Semyung, the Vice Academy Master, leaned forward, expression sharp. "Let me check for the last time, Assistant Instructor Bai Gang, are you serious about your request for a promotion?" Bai Gang didn't answer immediately. Instead, his mind wandered back to a nightmare etched into his soul. It was the day of the demon invasion. Great ruptures had opened from all sides, and creatures unlike anything seen before descended. Monsters slaughtered humans indiscriminately. Screams rang through the air. Oag. Kyak. Monsters? That day marked the beginning of the invasion by otherworldly beings, what people would eventually come to call the demon race. The young disciples of the Dragon Spring Academy, barely trained and filled with fear, had tried to run. Don't come near me. They had shouted, mere children, helpless. But the monsters tore through them ruthlessly. Their blood soaked the sacred grounds. Bai Gang remembered it all. He remembered the panic shouts. "Instructor Deng, hurry, eh?" But what stood out most clearly was one bitter truth. If Qian Semyung, the vice master of the academy, hadn't run away first, if he had just reported the situation, if he had activated the defense system, so many lives could have been saved. Bai Gang could still hear the screams of the young disciples who were sacrificed that day. It hadn't happened yet. Not in this timeline, but he would never forget Qian Semyoung's disgusting hypocritical face. He snapped back to the present, standing tall. You called for me, Vice Academy Master. Qian, feigning civility, nodded. Then I will tell you about the test for you to become a senior instructor. It's to raid the Demonic Knight stronghold. The Demonic Knight stronghold. Bai Gang repeated. You mean the bandits in the mountain behind us? Yes, kill them. That is your test, Qian confirmed. Bai Gang's mind recalled the details. The Demonic Knight stronghold was a group of bandits based in the old Sacred Mountain, not far from Dragon's Spring Academy. There had been frequent reports of damage caused by this group, and the Orthodox Alliance had issued an order to eliminate them for the safety of nearby civilians. He nodded. Well, all right. But what does this have to do with being an instructor? Qian's smile was thin. Obviously, this concerns the most basic of requirements of an instructor. Senior instructors are the main force of the academy. All the senior instructors here are considered martial masters. They've all been officially recognized by the Orthodox Alliance. Each of them has accomplished great things, eliminating evil demonic martial artists, taking down bandit groups. Yeah, I get it. Bai Gang interrupted. So how long do I have? Instructor Dong hissed. You arrogant little, how dare you behave so rudely? Qian remained calm. Exactly 2 weeks. If you are late even by a day, you will forever lose your chance for promotion. Bai Gang smirked. 2 weeks. See you in 3 days. I'll be back. As Bai Gang left, Dong growled, that little. Vice Academy Master, are you really going to promote that arrogant kid? If he really does succeed. But Qian simply chuckled. No need to worry, Instructor Dong. Our poor little instructor Sa Bai Gang will never come back. Dong blinked. Huh. What do you mean? Far from the skimming pair, Bai Gang knew. Qian Semyoung. You fake bastard, he muttered under his breath. You think I don't know what you're plotting? The Demonic Knight stronghold was far more than a mere bandit den. It was during this time that the Green Forest Alliance began to rise in secret. People didn't know much about them yet. It wasn't a large organization at the moment. But the real issue wasn't their numbers, it was their leader. Are you serious? Ding had once gasped. The head of the Green Forest Alliance is a peak realm martial master. Qian had explained, Demonic Knight Stronghold Master Ake Gyujum isn't just an ordinary bandit. The Orthodox Alliance suspects something, but no one truly knows A. He's actually a former leader of an unorthodox sect, the Heaven Destroying Sect. People think he was killed by traitors years ago, but he survived. Not only that, he hunted down every last one of them. His revenge was so brutal, even the unorthodox Murim placed a bounty on his head. He's been hiding and came here recently. Dung had been stunned. B. But how do you know all this? Qian's reply had been smug. Ooh, why is that important? Bai Gang was impressive today during the duel. Sure, but that was only possible because he'd been hiding his true skills. This test, however, is real. It's not a spar. He won't make it back alive. Meanwhile, Bai Gang was already on the move. Levitation, he whispered, floating above the mountainous terrain. If Ake Gyujum was truly as powerful as Bai Gang remembered, fourth circle magic wouldn't be enough. But he had an answer. Then the solution is simple. I'm here. I'll increase my mana and circle up. My experience and knowledge in magic is already 8th circle, after all. He cast another spell. Search. To any normal eye, it looked like a plain cliff. But Bai Gang saw through it. A barrier. A mana barrier, he confirmed. I'm in the right place. Few in the Central Plains could imagine it, but there were multiple places like this, hidden behind mana barriers. He stepped forward, toward a glowing core. A special, grade mana stone. He knew its origin demons, intelligent creatures of another world, constantly invading and conquering new dimensions. This was made possible by their dimensional travel technology. But there was a flaw. When traveling through dimensional portals, time for living beings and non-living equipment passed at different rates. Even demons couldn't fix this issue. Their solution. They secretly planted equipment, like this mana stone, in worlds they planned to invade. These stones restored mana and acted as supply points. They were useless to people of the Central Plains, who couldn't use mana. Well, at least until now, Bai Gang thought with a smirk. Back at the stronghold, a bandit stood near his master. Stronghold master, it doesn't seem like anything is amiss. Ake Gyujum narrowed his eyes. Are you saying that I made a mistake? The man froze, gasped, and not at all. I'm just stop. Shut up and search thoroughly, Gyujum ordered. I definitely felt an explosion of energy here. Losers like you wouldn't notice, but a voice echoed out from the trees. I knew it. You really are a peak realm martial master. I believed in you, Demonic Knight Stronghold Master there. Gyujum spun. Who are you? The gang stepped forward, smiling. Me. an instructor of the Dragon Spring Academy. Standing at the edge of the demonic night stronghold, Sabaigang spoke without fear. Me, I'm an instructor of the Dragon Spring Academy. The nearby bandits murmured in confusion. Dragon Spring Academy, the Dragon Spring Academy. But what is an instructor from there doing here? Another asked, uneasy. Gyujum, the stronghold master, cut them off sharply. Shut your damn mouths. He turned toward Baigang, his gaze sharp and calculating. If you're speaking the truth, are you saying that you were the cause of that great energy explosion earlier? Baigang met his stare and shrugged. What if I was? Huh. Gyujum clenched his fists. Then I'll kill you. That's why I came here. Baigang gave a soft, mocking laugh. Is that so? What a coincidence. I came here to kill you too. You better avenge your subordinates. Gyujum shouted. Who are you? What? Baigang replied casually. I already told you. I'm an instructor at the Dragon Spring Academy. Gyujum's eyes widened in disbelief. I can't believe it. This bastard. He's not struggling against me at all. His aura surged in fury. You. Without hesitation, he unleashed his core power. Hey heaven, destroying hegemon divine arts, core release. You bastard. How dare you make me use this power on you? Do you know what kind of power this is? After I was thrown off a cliff by traitors, I had collected all this innate core energy, dreaming of revenge. Baigang tilted his head. Who asked? What? Gyujum blinked. I don't care about the lore of some useless villain. Baigang replied flatly. You, what? Baigang raised his hand, and a cold incantation filled the air. Stroll chain. Gyujum convulsed. Quig. Yeek. Chains of radiant energy laced with astral mana wrapped around his limbs and torso, draining him from within. Baigang's voice was calm. Struggling is fatal. The moment it touches you, it sucks away your internal energy. It was a spell specially designed to take down martial artists. Gyujum howled, his voice filled with disbelief and pain. Kiyo. Kwa. You bastard, where did you learn such sorcery? Are you from the demonic cult? I said it's magic, not sorcery. Baigang corrected. Well, I shouldn't expect much from some bandit idiot. You damned, dying in a place like this. Baigang looked down at him, voice laced with indifference. What? Do you have regrets? Gyujum, still writhing, let out a hoarse shout. Yes, I have yet to get my revenge. Those bastards who manipulated my subordinates when I was still in the heaven, destroying sect. The reason I was working with those disgusting Orthodox Alliance guys, and the reason I was cooped up in this mountain recovering my power, it was all so that I could get revenge. All of that was... Wow. Baigang interrupted, eyes wide with sarcastic admiration. You were so determined. That's how revenge should be done. Slowly, thoroughly, without giving up. Gyujum grit his teeth, shaking with rage and exhaustion. Are you mocking me right now? What would you know? You're just some kid who grew up comfortably? Baigang's smile faded. Comfortably? He echoed, the weight of centuries in his voice. Does it really seem that way? Gyujum's thoughts stumbled. What the hell? He's not just some ordinary, insane man. It seems like something is fundamentally wrong with him. Baigang stepped forward, his eyes empty of mercy. Alright, I'll let you experience it too. The hell that I went through for 200 years. Gyujum blinked rapidly, his surroundings unfamiliar. Ha! What is this place? What the hell did that crazy bastard do to me? Pain gripped his body. He gasped. Aya, heck, heek, kyuhuk, huff, huff. Baigang's voice echoed coldly. How's that? That's the future you will experience in 10 years. Gyujum trembled, his pride shattered. Kill me, please, I can't handle it. Baigang looked down at him without pity. Yeah, I understand. But someone needs to do it. Back at the academy, Kion Semyoung was biting his lip. Damn it. I can't believe it. Baigang stepped forward, dropping something heavy with a thud. How's that? He said evenly. I didn't think you'd believe me if I only brought the sword, so I brought his head as well. Now, then, we should discuss my new duties as a senior instructor. Shock rippled through the room. This is nonsense. Instructor Wu Jin shouted. He was the shame of the academy until just a few days ago, but now he's a senior instructor. What is going on? Instructor Bayok turned to Dung. Instructor Dung, did he really raid the demonic night stronghold on his own? Dung, still pale from the morning's discovery, nodded slowly. I went to Old Sacred Mountain myself this morning. I found the corpses of the bandits as well as Akei Gyujums, just where Sa Baigang said they would be. I don't know how, but everyone other than Gyujum had their throats sliced with just one attack. Wu Jin slammed his hand on the table. Nonsense. He was an instructor for spear techniques. Are you saying he was hiding sword techniques too? That's just utter nonsense. Dong shot back, frustrated. Then are you saying that my eyes have deceived me? You can check for yourself if you can't trust me. Enough. Qian cut in, voice cold. What are you all doing right now? Dong quickly bowed his head. I'm sorry. Qian remained silent for a moment, thoughtful. It doesn't make sense no matter how I think about it. A Gyujim is at least a peak realm martial master. I met him myself and confirmed that fact when I was relaying an order from the Orthodox Alliance. But for Sabai Gang to kill him in just one night, along with all his subordinates. He frowned. That's something even I can't do as a fellow peak realm martial master. Did Jin Baek help him? No, that old man isn't that skilled. I'll have to look into it further. Qian turned to Dong again. Instructor Dong, can you still get in touch with the Ghost Shadow Manor? Dong blinked. You mean? The Ghost Shadow Manor, one of the biggest assassin organizations in Murim, notorious for taking on any job as long as the pay was good. Qian's eyes narrowed. Put in a request. Tell them to find out everything they can about Sabi Gang, even what he does on a daily basis. Dong bowed. I understand. Instructor Yeo stepped forward, hesitantly. Are you really going to promote him to senior instructor? Qian chuckled. Don't worry about it, Instructor Yeo. I have an idea. Wu Jin narrowed his eyes as Qian passed him a document. What is this? Qian smiled. This is the list of disciples he'll be in charge of once he's promoted. Wu Jin read over it. Slowly, a grin spread across his face. Oh, I see. Oh, ahaha. I wouldn't expect any less of you. You've come up with such a brilliant idea. Qian folded his arms with satisfaction. Hoo-hoo. I put my position to good use. Wu Jin laughed louder. He might give up his job before the Ghost Shadow Manor even gets anything out of him. Qian smirked. Kukuku, that's possible, since he has so little experience. Instructor Dong, you gave these lists to Instructor Satu, right? Dong nodded. Yes. I gave it to him right before this meeting. What did he say? Dong shrugged. What would he know even if he saw it? He just smiled and said he got it. Far from the meeting, Bai Gang sat alone, reading the names on the list, expression unreadable. Those old geezers are idiots, he muttered to himself. They're doing everything I expected them to do. His voice dropped into a low monologue as his thoughts traced back to his second chance. I regressed to this time and place for a reason. After learning about Newsrun's power of time regression, I wondered, hundreds, maybe thousands of times, what should I do to prepare for the demon invasion? The enemy is an army that has already conquered countless dimensions. I'm only one person. There are many things I can do, but in the end, he looked up. The best thing I could do was raise an army. Not some weaklings like the ones who died before my regression, but a powerful army, trained in both magic and martial arts. He scanned the names again. These were the so-called troublemakers among the first-year disciples. Misfits. Rejected. Either they were undeniably talented but blocked by their own personalities, or they were ignored due to not being from prestigious families. The old geezers must have thought I wouldn't be able to handle them. He smiled. But those old geezers never would have imagined that two of the greatest heroes during the demon invasion are among these names right now. One a martial master who reached the evolutionary realm in his late 20s, the last hope of Murim. The one who led the alliance against the demons, Heavenly Sword Alliance leader. And the other, a lethal archer who led a squad specialized in assassination and patrol. The one who personally assassinated the most demons during the invasion, Demon Slayer Divine Archer. Bai Gang walked into the training hall, where a group of young, troubled disciples waited with skeptical eyes. Nice to meet you, he said, expression sharp and commanding. I'm your instructor starting today. Those two heroes, he thought as he met their eyes, are right here, in front of me. Tan coughed violently, his knees scraping against the dirt. Ak, cough, Afe. Above him stood Gok Boak, his arms folded, looking down with a mocking grin. Hey, our external arts training isn't over yet. Get up. P, please stop, Boak. Tan pleaded, trembling. Gok sighed dramatically. What's up with you? Someone might think I'm bullying you. He leaned in closer, grinning. You should be thankful, you bastard. I'm showing a weakling like you my Dragon Tiger Mountain splitting fist arts. Tan winced. It's just the swordsmanship that my one-star sword clan teachers. What? The one-star sword clan? Gok interrupted, bursting out laughing. Those shitty martial arts you couldn't even properly use against me. You want to keep learning that. Tan clenched his fists, anger welling in his chest. Stop clenching your fist, you Gok warned. If not, shall we do another duel? Oh, no way. Tan backed away, defeated. That was when Yan Wookyoung stepped in. That's enough, Gok Boak, Yan said calmly but firmly. The exam period will commence soon. Stop causing unnecessary commotions. Ochi, gosh, okay. Gok muttered, backing off. Consider yourself lucky. Thanks, Tan whispered, grateful but humiliated. Just then, a man approached the trio with a formal scroll in hand. Yan Wookyeon, Gok Boik, Tan Lijung, cadets. Yes, what is it? Gok asked suspiciously. This is sudden, but Vice Academy Master Chien Semyoung informed me that you three will no longer be in the Camellia class. Instead, you're being transferred to a newly created class. Gok's jaw dropped. What? Moments later, they stood before their new instructor. Welcome, cadets, said a familiar voice. I am your instructor from today onwards. It was Sabai Gang. A murmur swept through the group. Just what's happening? A girl whispered in confusion. Yan gave a small exhale, almost like a scoff. Gok, on the other hand, snapped. Stop around. It's flustering enough that we had to suddenly move classes, but now we're under this half-assed instructor. You think I'll listen to such a shitty order? Bigang's voice stayed level. Your choice of words while talking with the head instructor is quite insolent, Cadet Gok Boyuk. Gok shouted. I don't know what bullshit you pulled to become a senior instructor, but I have no plans on learning from a bastard who couldn't even use internal arts until recently. Bigang didn't flinch. Instead, he calmly quoted, Academy Rules, Article 3, Clause 5. What? Gok blinked. But before he could react further, pain surged through him. Bigang stood tall. If a cadet shows bad behavior, you can punish them with the goal of guidance. You. Shit-faced bastard, Gok roared. Dragon Tiger Mountain splitting fist. Bigang moved with a calm swiftness. Swearing in violence towards a superior, he said, using internal arts during class without permission. But the worst of all, Gok screamed. Bigang's eyes were cold. This pathetic martial arts ability. Hey, get up. My guidance isn't over yet. Tan could hardly believe his eyes. How can that happen? That's the same Gok Boyuk who's ranked at the top among the new students in external arts training, to think he's losing so unilaterally, as if he's a child. Gok writhed on the ground, groaning. You son of a... Bigang clicked his tongue. Gosh, teach. What kind of nasty state is this starting from the first class? He stepped back and straightened his robe. Too bad, I guess. It is the role of the instructor to hold back their tears and educate. Yan stepped forward at last, his face unreadable. This is a little excessive against a cadet, Instructor Sabai Gang. Bigang's eyes met his with interest. So this is when you finally decide to move, young Master Yan Wookyoung. Sabai Gang studied the boy before him carefully. Yan Wookyoung, first year, formerly of Camellia class. The second son of the prestigious destructive sword Yan clan, one of the noble pillars of the Central Plains. Even as a child, Wookyoung had been acknowledged as a martial arts genius. His skill was unmatched, even among the most promising newcomers at Dragon Spring Academy. His sheer talent had long outgrown the bounds of the school. At just 20 years old in the previous timeline, he had achieved the impossible, becoming the youngest Supreme Peak martial master in history, eventually ranking among the top 10 martial masters of the Orthodox Alliance. In a different world, untouched by demons, Yan Wookyoung would have lived gloriously, revered and respected as a martial god of his era. But that world was never given a chance. When the demon invasion began, Wookyoung was at the forefront of every battle. But soon, his clan became the focus of the demon's calculated slaughter. Every member of the Yan clan, except him, was butchered, yet he didn't collapse in despair. Instead, he rose. Wookyoung wandered the Central Plains, rallying survivors, and built an alliance that transcended all sect boundaries, orthodox or unorthodox. Even when hope had vanished, he led the final resistance with unwavering spirit. Bigang still remembered him, shining like a sword of salvation on the battlefield, cutting down colossal demonic beasts with radiant sword energy. He was the last hope of Mirim. Now, though, he was just another snobbish noble brat from a prestigious family. So you've finally decided to move that heavy ass of yours, young Master Yan Wookyoung, Bigang said aloud, arms folded. Yan smirked. This is quite amusing, Instructor Bigang. Why? Surprised that the assistant instructor, who couldn't even use internal energy until recently, got so strong. Sure, that's unexpected, but the fact that all you can do with that newly acquired power is show off in front of cadets. That's just pathetic. From the side, Gok Boik muttered under his breath. How embarrassing. Yao narrowed his eyes at Bigang. Is that also because of those so-called fated encounters? Bigang chuckled. Sharp one, aren't you? Why are you curious? If you obediently follow my training from now on, I might just tell you. No thanks. Yan replied flatly. That won't be necessary. I don't know what kind of trick you pulled to suddenly change class rosters like this, but I'll be submitting a formal complaint to the academy about the person responsible. He looked him over. I have no interest in learning from someone who's puffed up with arrogance from a lucky stroke of fortune. Bigang let out a short laugh. Paffed. Look at you, running your mouth like you're something special. So, you think there's nothing to learn from me? His tone sharpened. What if I told you that in just 10 days of my training? This guy here, he pointed to Tan, could be strong enough to beat you. Yan stared. What did you just say? I'll repeat it as much as you want, Bigang said smugly. After just 1 week of my training, this pathetic weakling, the one you consider beneath a bug, will be able to chew up and spit out a frog in a well like you. That's what I said. Tan, alarmed, exclaimed, Instructor, what the hell? Are you insane? Yan's tone turned grave. Are you really willing to take responsibility for those words? Bigang nodded. Of course. Shall we make a bet? In 10 days, you and this guy will face each other in an official spar. Tan panicked, muffling another shriek. Miff. Bigang continued, calm and certain. If he wins, you'll follow my training without another word. If you win, you can do whatever you want. You can make me leave the academy, apologize, or kneel and beg. I'll do anything. Something I want. From you. Yeon scoffed. There's nothing I need from you. However, you better be prepared for the match that happens 1 week from now. Oh ho. Tan shrieked suddenly, nearly breaking down. Damn it, Bigang muttered. You startled me. Oh, Tan yelled again, tears forming. You're way too noisy, Bigang said, unbothered. Tan ran to him, grabbing him by the collar. Instructor. Instructor. What the hell did you just do? Bigang raised an eyebrow. Look at you, overflowing with energy. Calm down and let go of me. I'll explain. Tan refused. Why would you have me fight Yeon Wookyoung? Are you out of your mind? What did I do to deserve this? Let go of me, you little brat. Ark. Bigang brushed off his clothes. Well, looks like today's class is cancelled. All cadets, you're dismissed for now. The schedule for the next class will be sent to you individually by tomorrow. Around them, cadets whispered among themselves as they left. Geez, what the hell is going on? In the corner, Tan sat alone sulking. Sob, I'm doomed, a public spar. Bigang clicked his tongue. Tateskatsk, you just need to win. Why are you assuming you'll lose? Tan looked up miserably. Sighed during my first public spar after enrollment, I lost to Gok Boik, and I mean badly. Since then, he's tormented me every day. But did you know, even that monster, Gok Boik, couldn't land a single hit on Yeon Wookyoung. He was utterly defeated. Bigang gave a small nod. Yeon Wookyoung. Yeah, he's definitely something else. Even without the backing of the Yeon clan, his martial arts talent alone is truly one of a kind. Tan's voice cracked. If you already know that, then why? Don't worry, Bigang said, placing a hand on his shoulder. You are stronger than him. Pardon, Tan blinked, stunned. Before the regression, Bigang had seen it with his own eyes, Demon Slayer Divine Archer. And that very hero, now known as Tan Lee-jung, was sitting right in front of him. Tan's voice cracked with panic. No, let's say there really is nothing we can do about our class and head instructor suddenly changing. But why do I have to engage in a public duel with Yeon Wookyoung? Bigang folded his arms unfazed. You still don't understand the flow. You have to win the duel for me to prove my abilities. That's your problem. Tan snapped. What do I earn from getting swept up into this? Bigang's eyes narrowed. Revenge. Tan blinked. Pardon. You used to always get beat up by that big bastard, right? How? Did you know? Tan's voice softened into a whisper. Bigang leaned in slightly, voice calm but piercing. How did you feel when I beat that dipshit up recently? Were you excited? Did you feel refreshed? Did it feel so great you were exhilarated? Or... He paused. Did you feel mad that you couldn't get revenge yourself? Tan remained silent, stunned. You said so yourself. Even that Gok Boik couldn't touch a hair on Yeon Wookyoung's head. But what if you become so strong? You can beat him. Then even someone like you could take revenge with your own hands. How about it? Wouldn't that be a good present for the current you? Tan clenched his jaw, fists trembling slightly. If I really can become strong like you say, then I'll do it. Of course, Bigang said with a small smile. But this is unrelated to Gok Boyuk. Tan added firmly. What I want is simply to become stronger than I am now. Fine. Let's see. Bigang replied. Let's check your skill level right now. Think that you're fighting Yeon Wookyoung and wield your martial arts to their fullest. Tan took a deep breath. Phew. Keep going. Bigang shouted. Don't stop. At full force. Ka. Tan charged forward. Kick. Heek. Cuff. Huff. Huff. Bigang sighed. Pathetic. Do you know what your problem is right now? Tan wiped sweat from his brow, breathing hard, while carrying out the basic moves. For some reason, My internal energy keeps dispersing. At first, I thought I'd learned my clan's martial arts incorrectly, so I tried to confirm it several times. However, there were no problems with my basic moves. Then I thought perhaps there was an issue with my Danshin or Meridian points, so I had it checked out multiple times back in my clan. Still, there was nothing. Maybe I just lacked talent, or perhaps I have an unknown illness. B-Gang shook his head. No, it's not that. You just have your Meridian points spread further than others. Tan blinked. Pardon. What does that? Is it hard to understand? B-Gang asked. Like I said, you were born with your Meridian points more spread out in your body than most. Normally, it's considered a rare constitution, one that has more advantages than disadvantages. However, since you're still young and you lack internal energy, you're experiencing an issue. He began pacing slightly, explaining further. You must be aware that all martial artists must discharge their internal energy created in their Danshins through their Meridian points. But since yours are wider compared to others, and your internal energies is still mediocre, your energy's power doesn't focus properly. That's why it keeps dispersing. Tan stood stunned. This is my first time hearing about this. Makes sense, B-Gang said. After all, it's information I only heard by coincidence. Tan watched him closely now. This atmosphere. Does he have some kind of story behind it all? Well, I'll end the explanation here, B-Gang said, snapping him out of it. Know that you know the problem. We have to fix it. There's a way to fix it. Oh, of course. It's very simple, actually, B-Gang explained. Compared to other people, you lack power because of your wide Meridian points, which means you can resolve it by increasing the amount of internal energy you have. Since we can't increase your internal energy in such a short period of time, though, there's only one method I can teach you right now. He held up a finger. Keep gathering internal energy right until you start your basic moves. Once you've gathered enough, you'll be able to display your true power. Tan's eyes widened, filled with disbelief and cautious hope. He stepped forward, focusing as instructed. Then, his voice burst with joy. Instructor, did you see that? My internal energy really didn't disperse. Doll? Yeah, I saw it properly, B-Gang said casually. So you can be at ease before you collapse. Tan blinked. Collapse. I've never felt so energetic before in my lay. Suddenly, his legs gave out from under him. Huh. Tan gasped, coughing hard. Huh. Cough. Suddenly collapsed. Why? Huff. B-Gang stepped toward him calmly, crouching slightly. How do you feel? Instructor. I have no strength left in my body. Tan wheezed, his face pale. B-Gang nodded. It's a minor side effect from channeling your full power for the first time. You've never properly used your mind meridians before, so your unadapted body was shocked. Well, it's nothing to worry too much about. The side effects will naturally go away after a few months. Tan's eyes widened. Oh, I see. A few months. Wait, hold on. A few months. But the duel is in 1 week. B-Gang straightened up, expression unchanged. You're currently facing two major problems. First, when you unleash a technique with your stored energy, all the inner energy you've gathered up until that moment is consumed in a single strike. Then, as I said, your body can't withstand the recoil, so you collapse. He paused for emphasis. Second, your energy core is too small to store energy ahead of time and can't sustain it for long. If you force it, you wouldn't just collapse. You'd risk going into energy deviation, so that's absolutely forbidden. How is it? Up to this point, easy enough to understand, right? Yes, I understand. Tan nodded slowly, then tilted his head, confused. Though, what does that have to do with what you're holding all? B-Gang didn't answer that question. He waved it away. Don't mind the small stuff. More importantly, think about it. Considering everything, you can only start gathering energy after the duel begins. Now, how long did it take you to gather your energy earlier? Roughly 7 minutes. Then how are you going to hold off Yun Wookyoung for that amount of time? Tan's eyes widened. What do I do? There's only one answer. B-Gang grinned. You dodge like hell until you've gathered it all. Ack. What are you doing? B-Gang moved swiftly, swinging a stick in his hand. Focus and start gathering your energy. Don't take your eyes off the opponent's weapon. Then he muttered, Illusion. Arg. You're whining even though I didn't use any inner energy. Get up. We're continuing. This is training. Well, of course it is. Training to dodge. Wait, what kind of messed up training is this though? B-Gang's eyes sharpened. Messed up training. Hey, Dan Lee Jung. Do you think I'm doing this just to bully you? I just explained why you're weak and how to fix it. I even demonstrated it clearly. Also, I'll guarantee this right now. This is the only way you can give Yun Wookyoung a scratch a week from now. He stepped closer, voice low but forceful. This training is painful and hard. Of course it is. But is it harder than the times you were humiliated by Gok Boyik and Yan Wookiyoung? Are you really going to throw away this perfect chance to prove yourself to all the others who treated you like trash? Tan looked up, eyes burning. I'm sorry, instructor. Please continue the dodge training. I can endure a whole day of this if I must. A whole day? What nonsense are you spouting? You'll be doing this nonstop for the entire remaining week.
Wait, what did you say?
Here I come. Gah. 1 week later, the duel grounds buzzed with curious whispers. I wonder how long Dan Lijung will last. One cat had asked. Last? Another snorted. He's going to get wrecked in a single move and collapse flat on the ground. A girl chimed in, frowning. Didn't he prepare some kind of countermeasure? A boy replied, I saw him a few times in passing only, but he spent the whole week getting smacked around with a stick. Off to the side, Gok Boyik scoffed. What an idiot. If you're trash, just stay quiet in a corner. That wimp who grovels even in front of me is gonna beat Yan Wookiyoung. Bullshit. You fell for that scammer's lies and dug your own grave. On the arena platform, Yan Wookiyoung turned to Bai Gang. Instructor saw Bai Gang. I said I didn't want anything earlier, but under these circumstances, I'd like to make a condition of my own. Bai Gang nodded. Fine. What is it? If I win, you must promise to leave the academy on your own. I never want to waste time like this again. Bai Gang smirked. Deal. I swear on my name. You're aware of what happens if you lose too, right? If you lose, you must attend my classes and training without complaint. I remember. Good. Bai Gang gestured toward the arena. Though, aren't you mistaken about something? The person you should be focusing on right now isn't me, but Dan Lijung, who's standing over there in the duel arena. He raised his voice to address the crowd. All right, let's get started. Victory will be determined when one side either forfeits, loses consciousness, or drops their weapon. Additionally, any lethal or life-threatening strikes are strictly forbidden. In these cases, as the judge, I will make the final call. Bai Gang stepped back. No then. Begin the duel. Now then. Start. Bai Gang's voice echoed across the arena, officially beginning the duel. Tan blinked in surprise. Huh! A sudden pressure weighed down on him, thick and suffocating. Surrender? Came Yan Wookiyoung's calm voice. Tan's eyes widened. Huh. He instinctively looked down at his arm. My arm is fine. Yan's expression was cold and distant. What a fool. You agreed to fight me when you're this shaken after just a bit of murderous intent. Tan's heart pounded in his chest that just now was murderous intent. The realization sank in, heavy and paralyzing. That means, if he wanted to, he really could. I can't do this, eh? People consider this guy the best of the best in the academy. There is no way that someone as terrible as me could defeat him with just a week's worth of training. From the sidelines, Bai Gang's voice rang sharp. Dan Lijung. Tan snapped back to the present, laughing awkwardly, as if trying to shake off the fear. He reminded himself, what I want is to become stronger than I am now. His mind flashed back to the moment a week ago, the reason he accepted this impossible challenge in the first place. Yeon looked unimpressed. Hootiot, I gave you a chance to get out of this fight uninjured. You brought this upon yourself. Then, surprise flickered across his face. He reacted in time. Tan's body trembled slightly. That could have been bad. The ki I had collected was almost dispersed. Suddenly, Yeon advanced. Hain Supreme Dragon Heaven Severing Sword First Technique. He Berserk Dragon's Rage Torrent. A roar of energy burst forth with his strike. Whoa. Hake. Tan cried out as the surge of sword QI rushed toward him like a storm. This sword ki is so powerful. But, is it just a feeling I have? It feels like this attack is easier to dodge than I expected. Yin, eyes narrowing, moved again. Seems like you've learned something. He launched forward. Hain Supreme Dragon Heaven Severing Sword Third Technique. Tan's eyes widened in recognition. This sword technique is the same one that Instructor used. He struggled to keep up. Huff, he's strong, he's fast and precise too. I wouldn't expect any less from the sword technique of Central Plains' best swordsman clan. But then his stance shifted instinctively. However, that doesn't mean I can't dodge them. Each movement of his body, every twist and sidestep, mirrored the rhythm drilled into him for the past week. I don't understand why. But this sword technique is definitely the one Instructor had been using on me for the last week. From the stands, stunned voices rose in waves. Yan Wookiyoung backed off. Is this really happening? I can't believe it. Maybe they're acting. As if. Why would Yan Wookiyoung do that? Back on the field, Yan paused, regarding Tan with a new level of seriousness. I apologize for calling you an idiot. I have to admit that you've learned a lot within the last week. He tilted his head, a note of curiosity in his tone. I don't know how you know the Supreme Dragon Heaven's Severing Sword. Tan remained silent. But... Yan tightened his grip on his blade, energy swirling. If you can dodge this one too, I will admit defeat. A gasp tore through the spectators. Oh, what is that? A sword technique. From afar, Gokboik's jaw dropped. What the hell kind of sword technique is that, do? Then confusion turned to alarm. Ha! That crazy bastard. Where is he going? All eyes now locked onto the duel's climax. Tan standing against the full force of Yeon, Wookyoung's most devastating technique. The night before the duel, Tan was drenched in sweat, panting heavily as the moon cast pale light across the empty training grounds. You've been doing well, Baigang said calmly, arms crossed as he watched Tan struggle to stay upright. This might be doable now. Tan looked up, breath ragged. Huff, huff, will this really allow me to dodge all of Yeon Wookyoung's attacks? Baigang didn't hesitate. No. What? Tan nearly choked on his own breath. Bigang's tone remained steady. Yan Wookyoung isn't an idiot. He must be underestimating you right now. But if you continuously dodge his sword strikes, he'll set up countermeasures. And if you survive till the end, he'll most likely do that. Tan's eyes narrowed. The biggest scale sword art Yan Wookyoung can currently use. Its name is Fierce Dragon Annihilation. Bigang's eyes glinted as he described it. It quite literally makes it seem like a fierce dragon is materialized. It's a martial art that creates massive sword ki. He paused for a moment, giving Tan time to process the weight of it. I'll let you know in advance, Woe, but you can forget trying to dodge it. It's pointless trying to jump or move back. The ki will grow instantaneously and swallow the entire stadium. Tan's face turned pale. Then how? That's basically unbeatable. Listen up, Baigang said firmly, stepping closer. Nothing is unbeatable in this world. A storm of sword ki, endlessly whirling around in all directions, is just what it looks like. It's not a perfect martial art. Tan stared at him, trying to keep up. Baigang continued. In the first place, Fierce Dragon Annihilation is a martial art designed to annihilate the majority of enemies who get taken aback by its incredible force, the ones who try to run away. You mean? Tan began, hesitating. Yes, Baigang confirmed. The only way out is one. Keep moving forward. His voice grew sharper, more intense. Of course, if it's Yeon Wookyoung, he'll try to respond immediately after realizing his Fierce Dragon Annihilation was seen through. But in that position, it'll simply be a response made in surprise. He paused. That will be your moment. Use your pent-up anger, the humiliation, the shame you've pressed down for so long, and land a blow onto that arrogant bastard. Baigang looked Tan directly in the eyes. Dan Lijung, how does it feel? Tan blinked. Pardon, what do you? It's exhilarating, right? Tan's chest tightened, not with fear, but a bubbling fire rising from deep within. Yes. Baigang grinned. All right then, he said with finality. Let's begin our first class. Jian paced furiously, unable to hide his frustration. Damn it, those bastards. Weren't they the same ones who were all for it just a moment ago? Damn it. How did things end up like this? Woonjin, red with anger, slammed his palm on the table. I trusted you and left things in your hands, Vice Academy Master Qian. What is the meaning of this? Wasn't the whole point to get Baigang to leave voluntarily? Qian stammered. Well, why are the cadets following him willingly instead? Woonjin barked. What is going on? Especially Dan Lijung of the One-Star Sword Clan and Yan Wookyoung of the Yan Clan. Both cadets now adamantly insist on continuing their training under Baigang. Byuk offered, what if we force them to switch classes again, like last time? They've gone so far as to threaten withdrawal from the academy. Woonjin warned, and reporting it to the Yan clan. Another man muttered, we should never have entrusted a genius like Yan Wookyoung to some greenhorn. This is directly tied to the academy's reputation. Woonjin shouted. It's a critical matter. How are you going to take responsibility for this mess, Vice Academy Master Qian? Qian's voice turned sharp. And now you're trying to pin this on me. You lot are also just parasites desperate to curry the Yan clan's favor. His tone twisted in disbelief. Are you seriously saying Yan Wookyoung lost to some bottom, rank 1-star sword clan punk? Dong tried to clarify. Technically, he withdrew. But according to the cadets who watched, it was essentially a loss. Do you hear yourself? Qian shouted. Yan Wookyoung is one of the greatest prodigies ever, even among the Yayan clan. Baigang, the more I learn about him, the less I understand. We can't leave him unchecked any longer. He paused, a thought flashing through his mind. Wait a minute. Come to think of it, have we still not heard back from the Ghost Shadow Manor? Not since they said they'd review our request. Tetsk, a mere mercenary group who dares to act high and mighty. Oh, a cold voice answered from the shadows. You'd best be careful with your words and actions. Dung spun around. What? Who's there? Who are you? What a foolish question, the figure replied as more shadows emerged. Qian's blood ran cold. What is the meaning of this? I'm a peak realm martial master, yet I didn't sense him at all. The leader of the group stepped forward. Didn't you just all say it yourselves? Kian's eyes widened. Don't tell me. We're here to fulfill the request, said Ghost Shadow Manor No, Zor 1. Now, tell me more about the Sabai gang. They're throwing around 100 Niangs just to investigate one rookie instructor. Ghost Shadow Manor No. Zo 5 scoffed. For a place with such trash reputation, they sure seem to be swimming in money. It just goes to show that they're that corrupt. No, Zoo 1 replied. Not that it's any of our business. Ghost Shadow Manor No. Yo 7 chuckled. Hoo. Seriously, don't these orthodox sect types crack you up? They're always pretending to be all virtuous, and now they're secretly ordering a background check on their own subordinate. No. 5. No. Zol 1 snapped. Have you forgotten your mission? Until we find and serve him, we vowed to endure any dirty and despicable task. No. Yo 5 immediately bowed. I misspoke. Please forgive me. It's fine. Just focus on the mission. Should we also investigate this Jin Bake person? No. 5 asked. The one who supposedly raised him since childhood. Bo. For now, said No. Zo 1. Just locate and keep surveilling the target. No. 07 wondered aloud. Do you think the rumor about him having a fated encounter is true? Don't take such nonsense seriously, said No. Zoo 1. Still, they say, that he supposedly couldn't use inner energy at all, and then overnight he became a martial master. If it's not due to a fated encounter, then what is it? What if Sabai gang has hidden backers? Oh, no. Zo 7 muttered. Or maybe he infiltrated this place after being planted by some hostile faction with a shady objective. That's probably what the clients suspect, which is why they hired us, meaning he may be far more dangerous than we expected. He warned them firmly, do not let the target catch wind of us. Be extremely cautious. Ooh, what a funny joke, Captain. No. 05 sneered. No matter how strong he is, there's no way he could detect the stealth techniques of the Ghost Shadow Manor. Then let's begin, said No. 01. Jin Bake leaned casually against the wooden post of the training yard, arms folded, watching Bai Gang approach. I've been hearing a lot about you around the academy lately. Everything they said surprised me, Jin Bake said. Are you sure you'll be alright? It looks like people are really starting to move against you. Bai Gang gave a relaxed smile. Jealousy and envy always follow the path heroes walk. There's nothing to worry about. That fated encounter must have been truly extraordinary. Who would have thought you'd change this much? Now that I think about it, it probably all started with that duel. Back then I was honestly stunned. Arha. Even I think it was a bit much, Bai Gang admitted. If you had lost that duel, it would have been a disaster. Vice Academy Master Qian was clearly trying to get rid of you. Well, truth be told, I did get kicked out, Bai Gang revealed. Before I returned in time, back when I couldn't use magic or anything, I was brutally defeated in my duel against Manhwa Series. I was stripped of my position as assistant instructor and demoted to menial labor. Eventually, unable to endure the shame, I ran away from the academy. His voice softened. I wandered aimlessly for a while, and with no way to make a living, I ended up becoming an escort warrior in an escort agency. Even though I still couldn't use inner energy, I poured my blood and sweat into training my physical techniques and spear fighting. After surviving countless dangerous escort mission attacks from unorthodox sects and bandits, I eventually became a first-rank escort warrior after a few years. I spent over 10 years as an escort warrior that way. I'd been to every corner of the Central Plains and built up a wide network of contacts and information over time. He paused, glancing up at the sky. Then one day, I stopped by the Dragon Spring Academy for old time's sake, and on that very night of that day, Task. Bai Gang suddenly flicked his wrist and tossed a rock off to the side. Jin Bake blinked. Why'd you suddenly throw a rock away? Bai Gang smirked. I just saw an ugly frog and couldn't help myself. Now, why try to harm a poor frog? Jin Bake chuckled. Aha, have you forgotten how you caught and fed me frogs as medicine when I was little? Nearby, Ghost Shadow Manor No. 05 scrambled to check on a groaning figure. Are you okay? No. 7. That crazy bastard suddenly hurled a rock at me. No. 7 muttered through gritted teeth. Could it be that we've already been discovered? No way. No, Yo 5 said. Would he really have walked away just like that if he had discovered us? You just got unlucky. No. 7. Are you seriously doubting the Ghost Shadow Manor's cultivation techniques over something this small? No sir. How could I dare? No. Zoo 7 straightened up quickly. Good. Have more confidence in your skills. He's heading back to his quarters. Continue surveilling him. In his quarters, Bai Gang poured himself a drink and exhaled deeply. Securing Instructor Sung Dan, Dan Lai Jung, and Yan Wook Jung, he murmured to himself, My first post-regression objective is now complete. Is it finally time to bring her in? He paused. If memory serves me right, at this point in time, she should be at... Knock knock. The door creaked open. You're acting like you expected me, Yan Wookjung said, stepping inside. Bai Gang turned to face him with a sly smile. Well, I figured you'd be getting restless by now, Yan Wookjung. Wookjung narrowed his eyes. What is it? What's with that disgusting expression on your face? Bai Gang sat casually, his demeanor light but his eyes sharp as he faced the one who had entered, Yan Wookjung, the prodigy of the destructive Sword Yan clan. So, what brings the young master of the destructive Sword Yan clan to such a humble place? Bai Gang asked, teasing. What? Yan stepped forward, gaze unflinching. That duel from before. During that duel, Dan Li Jung was able to respond sloppily, yes, but still respond to all of my basic moves of the Supreme Dragon Heaven Severing Sword. At first, I thought those were simply the results of 1 week of training. But thinking back, those were movements that went beyond momentary responses. It was as if he knew all of the movements and pathways of my sword techniques. His tone sharpened. The one who taught him the sword paths of my destructive Sword Yan clan's unique swordsmanship, Supreme Dragon Heaven Severing Sword, must have been you, right? How could an outsider know the destructive Sword Yan clan's martial arts in such detail? Bai Gang tilted his head, pretending to ponder. Who knows? The martial arts of the destructive Sword Yan clan, that is considered the greatest swords clan in Zhongyuan right now, is quite well known among martial artists, don't you think? Stop joking around. Yan snapped. That wasn't a level of superficial knowledge. Did you think I wouldn't be able to distinguish that? Of course you should have noticed that. Bai Gang replied smoothly. If you hadn't, I would have been very disappointed. Stop trying to move past. Stop. Bai Gang interrupted gently, but firmly. Be more honest if you want to be my disciple. That's not what you're truly curious about. Yan froze. What? You came to check whether I also knew the flaws of the Supreme Dragon Heaven Severing Sword that you also felt, right? Bai Gang's voice dropped into something softer, more serious. It was perfected hundreds of years ago and has been passed down through the clan as a unique swordsmanship. Supreme Dragon Heaven Severing Sword. This is the swordsmanship currently praised as the greatest sword art in Zhongyuan, having incredible destructive power, ever-changing sword paths, and no gaps. He paused. But ever since you were young, as you grew up wielding this swordsmanship, with your outstanding wisdom you realized something. Supreme Dragon Heaven Severing Sword is not an unbeatable martial art. Yan stiffened. But as the heir of the great destructive Yan clan, you could not acknowledge it. Yan's pride flared. Are you looking down on my clan's martial arts? Bai Gang shrugged. Think as you please, but let me just say this. In the near future, there will come a day when those things that you martial artists revere so much, tradition, honor, nobility, and reputation, all become meaningless. Only think of one thing getting stronger than you are now. Push anything that gets in the way of that to the side without hesitation. He leaned back, more relaxed now. Well, we will have time to talk about this in more detail later. Let's talk then. For now, follow your instincts. Yon eyed him warily. So let's say that's that. Why are you suddenly grabbing a wooden pillow? Oh. Bai Gang blinked, caught mid-motion. Aw, it's nothing much. Don't worry about it. There's an annoying frog outside. Elsewhere, deep in the shadows beyond the walls, Ghost Shadow Manor operatives were in conference. No. Zoa 1 reviewed the findings with his usual calm. Recovering Body Pavilion Master Jin Baek. Normally a medic who worked in Gamsu, but 5 years ago he became responsible for the Recovering Body Pavilion, which treats patients and came to the Dragon Spring Academy. No 5 nodded. While capable as a medic, he barely learned martial arts and doesn't seem to have much other background either. We investigated him since he's the closest to Sa Bai Gang. But he just seems to be a normal medic. No, Zoa 1 continued. However, his clean pass seems a little artificial. He suddenly turned to a nervous-looking subordinate. Wait. Number 7, why do you look like that? No. Odo 5 began to explain hesitantly. So, no, Yu1's voice hardened. Are you sure you weren't found out? No. Yo 5 tried to reassure him. Well, they had no caution towards us at all. So, no. Zo 7 muttered, still shaken. No matter how I think of it, I think we were found out. No, Zo 1 shut him down coldly. Number 7, don't doubt my clan's mind technique. He must just happen to have a bad habit of throwing things out. You've experienced worse things. Endure a bit longer. No. Yo 5 muttered under his breath. Okay, senior, I'm telling you this in advance, A. But if something comes flying this way again, I won't hold back. I will behead him myself. No. Yo 7 added, I understand how you feel, but calm down. We've moved away from the accommodation, so these accidents won't keep happening. Who knows? No. Zur7 replied nervously. If that crazy bastard wakes up and suddenly decides to practice archery, shush. No. U5 snapped. Someone's coming. Hide. Footsteps approached. Baigang appeared, grumbling, gosh, I have to go so bad. Wow, I must have drunk too much tea lie. No, Zur7 squinted.
Wait, what?
No, there's no way, right? Hey, you crazy bastard. What are you doing, He leaned forward, confused. Baigang suddenly turned and locked eyes with the spot they were hiding. He said with a calm smile. Want a cup? You bastard. No, U7 yelled. So you knew all along and purposely, I'll kill you die. Baigang raised his hand. Barrier. A shimmer of force surrounded him as no. Zuo7 froze, mid-rush. Yes, Baigang said with an icy smile. Nice to meet you. Ghost Shadow Manor. No. 7 yelled no. 5 as his comrade was struck. Baigang clicked his tongue. Teesk. Teesk. That's what you get for digging into other people's business, my dear Ghost Shadow Manor friends. You bastard. No. 5 snarled, rage boiling over, but no one, the leader, raised his hand. Stand down, no 5. Then he turned to Baigang with a curious smile. Below there, Instructor Baigang. To think you had actually already discovered us. Baigang gave a casual nod. That's right. I'm Baigang, the one you've been tailing. You must be the leader of these frogs. His eyes narrowed. Though, is it really okay to reveal your identity in front of your surveillance target like this? That's a foolish question. No, one replied coldly. If I eliminate you right here, what trouble could it cause? Baigang chuckled. Cuckold, are you really fine with that? Aren't you at least curious how I know about all of you? We'll find out soon enough. No, one said darkly, stepping forward. Let's start off by slicing off your limbs one by one. The battle exploded in a blur of speed and deadly precision. Mana blade. Baigang muttered, conjuring his weapon. The flurry of strikes came fast and hard. Baigang observed his opponent, not so fast. Though he lacks the overwhelming destructive power of the Ake Gujium, he's fast, precise, sharp, and deadly. Every technique is a fatal strike aimed at vital points. In particular, the density of energy embedded in that sword is overwhelming. No way a barrier will hold, and I can't keep pairing it with the mana blade. His lips curled. Ice, this is more like it, no. One narrowed his eyes, studying him mid-combat. Strange. It's hard to put my finger on it. But the power and style you're using, they are fundamentally different from the martial arts of the orthodox sects. There's no way you just stumbled upon this power. Don't tell me it's demonic arts, Baigang scoffed. Come on, have you even seen demon arts in person? It's been years since the demonic cult fell. What nonsense. It has nothing to do with demonic arts. Though, you're right, it's not typical martial arts either. I see. No, one said, determination hardening his voice. I now understand you're not someone we can simply subdue. I don't hold any personal grudge against you, but I will take your life. Ghost Shadow Manor, 100%. All of it is for the sake of the Ghost Shadow Manor's mission, soul-destroying strike. He disappeared. Baigang recognized the movement. It is an exclusive movement technique which, after erasing all presence, throws the opponent into confusion with high-speed movement. Then, in that moment of confusion, comes a strike too fast to even perceive. Illusion. Baigang whispered. No. One suddenly stumbled mid-air. What the? No one. Sir, shouted No 5 shocked. No one coughed violently as blood spattered. Cut. Just how did you? Baigang stepped closer, calm and confident. So you take pride in your stealth skills, HUD. Search. Sorry, but I can see you clear as day now. Shall we have a deeper conversation? Cuff. One groaned. Baigang folded his arms. Tone serious now. The Ghost Shadow Manor Lord. No, the Origin Sect leader. A heavy silence fell, and a narrator's voice would say the Origin Sect, a mysterious sect like a ghost in the Jiangyu. Never once appearing in any official events, it's unclear whether they are orthodox or unorthodox. Their true goals and structure are shrouded in secrecy. So much so that, decades ago, when a massacre wiped out all direct blood relatives, including the leader, most of the Jianghu didn't even notice. Only those born and raised in the Origin Sect, loyal to the end, knew the truth. Those who survived that tragedy emerged under a new name, Ghost Shadow Manor. They now gather and collect every piece of information across the Jianghu. Ghost Shadow Manor, now a top-tier mercenary organization that handles all sorts of dirty and dangerous missions. Baigang looked him dead in the eye. However, all of that is for a single goal, the restoration of the fallen Origin Sect. That's the mission you speak of, isn't it? No, impossible. No, one said, staggered. The true history of our sect is a top-level secret. It's never once been leaked in decades. Let me be blunt here, Baigang said smoothly. Do just 2 missions. Do 2 things I task you with, and I'll give you the information regarding that, the thing you've been chasing all this time. No, one shook with emotion. You, how dare you? You dare spew such nonsense. 20 years. We've spent 20 years. We scarred the Central Plains with only a sliver of hope for the sake of our mission. Do you even understand what it is we've been searching for? Begang's eyes narrowed. The blood of the Origin sect. More precisely, a unique bloodline that can fully inherit the Origin sect's martial arts. There's a strange birthmark on their left wrist, right? No. One's breath caught. That's right. The core of our sect's restoration. The very reason we've wandered for so long. But even within Ghost Shadow Manor, only a select few should know this secret. 8. How do you know? Baigang interrupted, his voice firm and calm. Enough. That's all I'll tell you. Now choose. No. One grit his teeth. Accept my request and get the information. Baigang continued. Or waste the rest of your life tailing people. Alternatively, should we just continue what we were doing earlier? There was a tense pause. Finally, no. One lowered his sword and said, I'll accept the mission. However, if it turns out you've deceived us, I swear I'll pay you back with everything I've got. Good then. Baigang said, smiling as he turned away. Let me give you the first mission. The vice leader of the Scorpion Gang gasped, staggering under the pain. Keek. Stop. Cuke. Huff. Cuka. Cuke. Keek. He groaned, writhing in agony. Standing before him was a cold-eyed girl who looked down on him with absolute disdain. Vice leader of the Scorpion Gang, Destructive Fist, Fighting Demon Mac Woe. She recited. After attacking this place with your subordinates a month ago, you killed all the men and all the women. The women who survived commissioned me to make sure that I kill you. You bitch. Mac Who spat, trembling. I can't gather my internal energy. No, what is this? Why is my internal energy slowly fading away? This makes no sense. Cuke, you bitch, aren't you scared of what's to come? I am the vice leader of the Black Scorpion Ga. I said that earlier, you idiot. She cut him off mercilessly. Wait, Cuke. He begged, but his pleas were drowned in silence. The girl turned away without emotion. The next commission. An instructor of the Dragon Spring Academy, saw Baigang. Meanwhile, far from this confrontation, Baigang was instructing his students. One boy shouted as he trained, stop the bullshit and release the tension. Baigang corrected him, unimpressed. Spread your legs apart and change your wrist angle slightly downward. Hoog. The boy groaned under strain. 200 more times in that position. Go, Baigang ordered calmly. Arg, damn it doll, the boy cursed, struggling with exhaustion. Baigang raised an eyebrow. Oh, what's with the disrespectful attitude? Are you being sassy with my instructing methods? Abo, wait, before you hit me, let me say what I want. The boy pleaded. Why aren't you making him do anything? He's doing well on his own, Baigang replied. Doing well. He's not doing anything. Is he sleeping right now? Look. You think he's on the same level as you? Baigang asked coldly. Shut up and wield your sword with more effort, you dunce. Shit, the boy muttered, reluctantly obeying. Baigang then turned his attention to Yan Wukjung. Yes, that's good, Yan Wukjung. Don't be bound by the original sword techniques of the Supreme Dragon Heaven Severing Sword and go to the swordsmanship your senses are guiding you to. That genius talent of yours will help you reach a higher level. Nearby, Tan approached nervously. Instructor. Have you completed your Q circulation already, Dan Lijung? Baigang asked. No, I keep getting worried. Can I really just do as you ordered and circulate my Q? Tan admitted hesitantly. There's no other way to solve your issue other than accumulating enough internal energy, Baigang said. Unless you were secretly hiding rare elixirs, that is. Pardon, of course not, Tan replied quickly. Then aside from when you eat and sleep, keep circulating your Qi. Understood. Baigang watched him go. I'm sure he feels rushed. He must be well aware that the only reason he beat Yan Wukjung in that duel was because of tricks. There's no helping it. It's not a problem that can be solved immediately. Plus, I have a bigger issue to deal with. He checked the time mentally. Let's see, has it already been 10 days since then? If no contact comes, my plans might have a problem. Instructor Sa Baigang called a voice. Baigang sighed. Teetsk. It's been a while, Instructor Dung Bahung. It's good to see you. You don't seem pleased to see me at all. Dung replied. Why did you suddenly make that expression as soon as you saw me? I'm busy with my class right now. You're bothering me, Baigang said flatly. Busy my ass. You've been wandering around since earlier. Shit. If it weren't for what I saw that day, I'd just, anyway, go to the main hall immediately. Vice Academy Master Qian Semyang wants to see you. When Bai Gang arrived at the main hall, Qian greeted him with an oily smile. "It's been a while, Instructor Se. How is it going for you?" "Really good," Bai Gang said with mock enthusiasm. "Being able to teach my cadets who are such outstanding talents makes me feel the worth of being a senior instructor every day. This is all thanks to you creating a class of outstanding cadets." "Ahem. Ahem. You know, that is a relief. I know that you're doing well, but as you know, we at the Dragon Spring Academy are a martial arts academy underneath the Orthodox Alliance," Qian said carefully. "Since you have become a senior instructor, even though you lack the experience, the Alliance seems to have a lot of concerns." "Oh. The Orthodox Alliance is that interested in a mere instructor like me," Beigang said with an amused grin. "Be respectful, Instructor Sa Baigang," Qin warned. "I'm sorry to say that the Orthodox Alliance has sent an inspector to support you." At that, a woman stepped forward gracefully. "Hello, Instructor Sa Baigang. I am Mei Xiaolin and I have been dispatched by the Orthodox Alliance's inspection department." Instructor," Qian prompted nervously. "Aha, I apologize," Baigang said, smirking. "I was swept away by your beauty, Alk." Mei smiled. "Hoo-hoo. Oh my, thank you for the compliment." Qian continued, trying to maintain control of the situation. "Inspector Mei Xiaolin is a rising female master within the Orthodox Alliance. She's an incredible master who reached the peak realm at an unprecedented young age. Don't act rashly. Do your best as a senior instructor and be careful not to be discourteous toward Inspector Mei." "Ayaha." Of course, Baigang laughed. Later, he met again with No, one of the Ghost Shadow Manor, to give the promised mission. "Good. Then I'll tell you your first commission. Do you know the soul, taking Celestial Maiden, the assassin?" No. One blinked. "The soul, taking Celestial Maiden. I don't understand why you're suddenly bringing her name up here. But of course I know her. A contract assassin who works by herself with no affiliations or comrades. She's famous for having never failed a commission she has accepted. I've never met her myself, but her targets were found with their lives sucked out of them. There's also the rumor that she's a peerless beauty. Is the mission to kill the soul, taking Celestial Maiden?" "No," Baigang said. "Call the soul, taking Celestial Maiden over here to the Dragon Spring Academy." "What?" "Tell Qian Semyung that due to unforeseeable circumstances, you have to cancel the commission. If so, then obviously, cancel." Qian burst out later. "What are you saying after all this time? How irresponsible of you. I sincerely apologize," No, one said calmly. "However, there's no helping it as an urgent matter has come up. Instead, I'll introduce you to someone who's perfect for this job. As an apology, I'll pay the commission fee as well. I've contacted her a few times for my missions before, so I can do that, but why would you do such a foolish thing? She's a merciless and thorough assassin. No matter how strong you are, she'll still find a way to kill you." "What's this? Are you worried about me?" Baigang asked with a teasing smile. "If you die before you tell me the promised info, I'll be the one in a dilemma." No, one snapped. "Yeah, you're right," Baigang admitted. "She's a very dangerous woman, which is why I need her even more." To be continued. We'll cover the next story very soon. Stay tuned. If you like the story, let me know in the comments.